Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. I hope you are having a fantastic day. In this video, I want to share a post-burn review of Yankee Candle Golden Pumpkin. This is a part of the Fantastical Fall collection for fall 2025 from Yankee, and I recently picked this up in store. I kind of fell in love with this fragrance on first sniff. I really love the fragrance. This candle has been a little bit of a troublemaker, and we'll get into all that, but I do really love the fragrance. Actually, I had two other fragrances also on my list to purchase that day from this collection, but after I stuck my nose into the other scents, they really didn't appeal to me as much as I thought they were going to. So I'm glad that I decided to go ahead and pop in store instead of ordering online, because honestly, I would have probably ordered all but one of the fragrances from this Fantastical Fall collection. And like I said, the other scents they weren't bad, but they did not grab me the way that I thought they initially would, just based off of reading the fragrance notes online. So anyway, I guess that is the good thing about being able to shop in store, but it's a lot harder now because all of these Yankee stores have closed over the years. So that's insanely frustrating. The Yankee Candle that I purchased this one from is actually literally on the opposite end of town for me. It takes me about 45 minutes to get there. I live in the Portland metro area, so it takes 45 minutes to get anywhere here. So anyway, moral of the story is I really love this fragrance, but she has not been without her issues. So we're gonna get into all of that here. If you are interested in this fragrance, I will have it linked at the top of the description box here. Feel free to check that out. There are a number of reviews available to read through for this candle. I don't think I'm the only one that has found this one a little problematic, even though it is a really delicious scent. So yeah, if you are interested in reading up a little bit more about it yourself, like I said, I'll have it linked at the top of the description box. But let's go ahead and let's dive into the in-depth post-burn review here of Yankee Candle Golden Pumpkin. As always, we are going to get started by reading through the scent story. Then we'll dig into the top, middle, and base notes. I'll tell you what I smell in this candle. We'll go ahead and discuss the overall strength and throw, and then the burn quality, which is where I have some beef with her. So let's get started with the scent story. This is a sweet and spicy fragrance, basking in the afternoon sun. Aromas of ginger, warm cinnamon, and sweet caramel waft from a mysterious patch of gilded pumpkins that almost seem to glow in the light. The top notes are bright bergamot, lemon peel, raspberry, and orange zest. The mid notes are ginger, warm cinnamon, spiced clove. The base notes are vanilla bean, golden marshmallow, sweet caramel, sandalwood, and sugared musk. All right, what do you smell here? So what was so interesting to me about these top, middle, and base notes was that pumpkin is actually not listed once. Yet the name of this fragrance is Golden Pumpkin. I don't really smell any pumpkin in here at all, but because it does have the classic, I guess you could say, pumpkin pie spices and the marshmallow note, I really do think that somehow it still kind of manages to smell like there is some pumpkin in here because of those notes. I think that might just be the power of suggestion here for me, but I do think it is very much a fall fragrance. But is there like an outright creamy traditional pumpkin or white pumpkin or something like that? No, there really isn't. But like I said, I think it's the combination of that marshmallow note and those typical like pumpkin pie type spices that does help this somehow in a roundabout way smell slightly pumpkin-y. But here's the notes that I don't smell at all, which when I first saw these, I was like, what are these doing in this fall fragrance? Okay, I do not smell bergamot at all. There is not an ounce of bergamot to my nose in this fragrance. So scratch that off the list. Lemon peel. I don't smell any lemon. I don't smell lemon juice. I don't smell lemon pith. I don't smell lemon peel. There's nothing lemony about this scent to my nose. I don't smell any raspberry at all. There is no raspberry to my nose. Now, this is not to say that you aren't going to smell these notes, because everybody's nose is a little bit different. But to me, those first 3 notes are pretty much all but non-existent here. Orange zest. Now, this is where I will say that I do smell a little hint of like an orange essence or like an orange zest, but it is very light. With these middle notes, this is where we really kind of start getting into what this fragrance is all about. There is a nice ginger note here. It's not overly aggressive. I don't think it comes across as too spicy to my nose at all. Sometimes I'm good with ginger and sometimes it's a little aggressive. It's very soft and very enjoyable in this particular scent. The cinnamon. This is a great cinnamon, you guys. It's a pure like bakery Ceylon cinnamon. It's not red hot cinnamon. It's not overly spicy. I love the clove in here. It's also not super aggressive. It's just really, really well done. Now, it's not listed, but I also smell nutmeg in here. I very much get a distinct nutmeg to my nose, even though, like I said, it is not listed. But then again, we do have bergamot, lemon, and raspberry in here, which I don't get at all. So yeah, let's go to the base, the base notes. The vanilla bean, yes. There is a lovely creaminess to this fragrance that I think really also helps with that implication of like this being a pumpkin scent, I guess you could say. It's a really, really nice vanilla, very enjoyable. The marshmallow is ever so slightly toasted. It definitely smells like a warmed marshmallow, not like you are sticking your nose into just like a freshly opened bag of marshmallows. Like the marshmallows have been warmed a little bit. The caramel, I do smell some caramel in here, but it's actually not an overwhelming amount at all. I would say caramel is maybe like 20% of the fragrance here. Not a whole lot, but definitely like very present, but not cloying, not overwhelming, but definitely, you know, it's a part of the fragrance here, but really enjoyable. If you are newer to my candle reviews, caramel is one of those fragrance notes that I tend to be a little bit iffy about in home fragrance as well as personal fragrance. So sometimes it can just smell really cloying to my nose, but there is caramel in here, but it's just done really, really well. It is not overwhelming. There is definitely some sandalwood in here. I think the sandalwood does give just a little bit of a like non-edible vibe to this one. So it doesn't smell entirely edible or gourmand, if that makes sense. There's almost like just a hint of maybe a like woody perfuminess here, but not a whole lot. Also, the sugared musk note is definitely something that I do smell. This is a sweet scent, and it is a, like, again, ever so slightly perfumey musk note, and it is present. It doesn't just play a supporting role that kind of, you know, like boosts the other fragrance notes. It's very distinctly a part of the fragrance. And so there are parts of this scent that are not entirely edible smelling. But I think overall, when I walk into the room, especially where this is burning, I get a mostly gourmand experience of the really lovely fall spices, the creaminess that you would find in like a pumpkin scent, that really nice just hint of caramel, that little bit of that like orange essence, orange zest. It's a really enjoyable scent to my nose. There are definitely some people that had some pretty strong reactions, I feel like, to this scent, and I can see where that would happen because it's not entirely 100% gourmand. To my nose, it smells, I would say, 95% gourmand, but there is a little something in it that is not edible, if that makes sense. And I think that specifically the sandalwood and the sugared musk that might be throwing some people off with this one. So it's one of those scents that, and again, this is a bummer because Yankee has closed most of their stores, but it's one of those where I would say you probably maybe want to be able to stick your nose into it if you are able to before purchasing it. I'm just trying to look through and see what options they have. Okay, so they actually do have mini candles available for $4.99. That might be a great way to actually smell this fragrance first, or maybe grab their wax melts. Those are available as well. But this is one that I would repurchase. I really would. The strength and throw have also been really, really good on this one. I would put the strength at kind of, it's dependent on the wicks because like I said, some days I've had better burns than others with these particular wicks. On days where I'm getting a decent flame, so on days where I've taken a little bit of the wax out, we'll get to that part here in a second, but on those days I've had a throw of nearly an 8, but when the flames are like this, the throw is about a 6. So it's still performing. I'm still getting a wax pool here. I'm still smelling it. It's just not as strong. But if I can get those flames to really get going, this one does ramp up and does give me a much stronger strength, if you will. The throw also kind of waffles depending on what the wicks are doing that given day. So anywhere between a 6 and a 7 is what I usually have been getting from this in terms of the throw. Let's just go ahead and dig into the overall burn quality here since I was kind of talking about it anyway. But yeah, this candle has been a little bit problematic from the get-go in terms of the wicks, I feel like. The wicks on my candle were pretty short when I first purchased it. In fact, I looked through a few of the candles that they had in store and all of the wicks were really short on this one. So I did try to find the longest wicks that I could, but yeah, they were just really short to begin with. And so during the first burn, I wasn't entirely surprised that it was struggling a little bit. And so I ended up rolling up a paper towel and blowing the candle out once I got a little bit of a wax pool, and I just kind of soaked a little bit of that wax up in the rolled up paper towel, and I let the wax harden, and then I went ahead and relit the candle. When I did that, I actually got a pretty decent subsequent burn, and it was fine. Then I went to go light it up the day after, and once again, the wicks became really, really short. And so I was like, what the hell, man? I thought I had fixed this. So once again, I extinguished the candle. I got out another piece of paper towel, rolled it up, soaked up a little bit of that wax, let the wax harden, lit the candle, and it did fine. Again, that burn after removing some of the wax. But I feel like the wicks just deteriorate with each burn. And this is something interesting that I have not noticed with the other candles that I picked up, which are also all in the new wax formulation. So I think I just got some dud wicks here. I don't know what the problem is, but it's definitely to the point where I'm kind of tired of dealing with that. And so I'm gonna go ahead and pop this into a candle crock. I'm not going to return it because I love the fragrance. I genuinely love this scent. I just don't like these puny wicks. I feel like it kind of takes away almost the aesthetic of the candle by having such puny wicks. Let me go ahead and turn this to the side here so you can see a little better how short these guys are. You can see I still actually have a somewhat decent wax pool. So I'm still getting an okay, still what I would consider like an acceptable strength and throw of about a 6. But I know that it can do better, and I think that's probably where my disappointment comes from. It's a lot stronger when these wicks aren't this tiny. So yeah, it's gonna go into my crock just because of these wicks here. I'm not returning it. Other than that, it has had a nice clean burn. I really like the new wax formulation. I know not everybody does, but for me, this one I think is just, it's a much better formulation than their paraffin was for sure. And I did also try some candles from Yankee earlier in the year as well. And I would say overall, I think they have made a lot of improvements in terms of their wax. And I've really been enjoying burning these Yankees again. There's so many fragrances that I've missed from this particular company, and I'm just so happy that they made the transition and that I have the opportunity to enjoy these nostalgic scents again. So that being said, while this one is a little bit of the dud, I can tell you that the other ones that I purchased during that haul have all been burning great. No issues with those wicks. But all those wicks were much longer to begin with when I first purchased the candles. So anyway, for what it's worth, those are my thoughts on the Yankee Candle Golden Pumpkin from the Fantastical Fall Collection. So now I shall retire this, this beautiful label. I actually prefer this label over the other labels on the other jars that I picked up. I just hate that big white box. I don't know why they did that. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and retire this one to the candle crock, and I will let you guys know how it does in the crock in the weekly home fragrance roundup coming up this weekend. Let me know your experience with Golden Pumpkin in the comments below. Like I said, if you want to read up a little bit more about this one, maybe check out some other people's reviews. I'll have it linked at the top of the description box, so check that out there. I appreciate you guys being here. Subscribe if you are new. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.